It is, what day is it? Wednesday, the 5th day of April, 2023. And this week I am doing something a bit different, something a bit out of the ordinary and a bit most unlike myself. You see, tomorrow is my birthday, the beginning of my 45th turn around the sun. And while I'm not very interesting or entertaining, at both complaining or observing, I wanted to take an opportunity to sort of recognize just how grateful I am to be able to even have this dumb show, along with a whole host of other things. Yeah, and I put it out there to try to get people to contribute. I got the expected ration of shit from a handful of people, and while I usually don't care about stuff like that, I have to say it was a bit off-putting and how expressing gratitude is somehow less than ideal or manly or whatever. The more I thought about it, the more I liked the idea. And while I would have liked if more people took part, I get it. That happens. It's the perils of having three listeners. But good news though, this will likely be another short shift. But hopefully, one or more of my listeners happens to find a bit of meaning in it. And so, this is episode number 156, the gratitude episode of Complaints and Observations.
Still, the most less than average podcast on the internet. With a host who's the smartest person in the room when he's the only one there. A continuing odyssey into mediocrity. Guaranteed to make you question your life choices and your own sanity. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
All right, welcome. How are you? Doing well? Hopefully, things are going okay for you, as always. Fingers crossed. It is going to take a bit of a different tone. I'm going to try not to sound like too much of a whiny douchebag. Not whiny, that's not the right word, but I don't want to sound like a douchebag here. And the idea is, I want to be a bit serious and try to convey, these particular feelings. See, even when I'm trying to be serious and nice, I still can't fucking talk. So, today at work, long day, tiring day, trying day, just, not an ideal day. But I think coming in and doing this today is going, at least for me, is going to feel a whole lot better. So I'm glad that it sort of worked out this way. But just a little bit of backstory. Obviously, there's, the whole birthday thing I think plays into it. And it's not like a mortality thing by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's just more of a, I'm looking at it in sort of opening my eyes and realizing, okay, you've gotten to this point in your life, which is huge. I'm, entirely grateful again that I've made it to, through 45 years basically, which, now that I think about it, when I realized I said the beginning of my 45th turnaround on the sun, that's not entirely accurate because really it's the beginning of my 46th turn, even though I'm turning 45. Do you see that? That's the fucking bullshit there. Anyways, it's not bullshit. It's just stupid. But listen, a few weeks back, there was a workshop at work about goal setting. And seeing as I'm entirely inept in that department, I decided I'd take part. And ultimately, I didn't really hear um, too much that I hadn't heard in other similar types of workshops over the course of my life slash career or whatever. But the person was something, I think she called herself a life coach or something akin to that. And honestly, if there's a profession that's more made up or hokey than life coach, I haven't found it. But it was a decent presentation. It wasn't the best, but at the end of it, I posed a question about the mindset that she thought was needed to find goals that people would want or need to make. And I mentioned how I had always struggled in that regard, and how I lose focus and I'm not able to really sort of anytime I think I've come up with a goal, I immediately perseverate over it and start to basically lose the the point of the goal. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you don't, but whatever. So I posed that question, and I basically said the same thing, and I mentioned how I always struggled with that. And her answer wasn't terrible, and it wasn't really rememberable either. Memorable. It wasn't rememberable. Yeah. It wasn't entirely memorable. I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. It was just meh, you know. When the meeting was over, I went back to work, and afterwards, I got a message on the old Microsoft Teams from a coworker who happened to be in that same workshop, and she said something that I, found, I guess interesting. But she mentioned that she said it was admirable that I could admit my flaws in an open forum like that. I was like, well, okay, she's not one of my three listeners, obviously. I have zero issues talking about my flaws. In fact, I probably do it way too much. But I mean, I didn't really think it. I didn't take her comment and think about it. I don't want to say I didn't think much of it because that's not really asked. But I asked why she thought that, and what she replied with was kind of striking. She said that she had been working on being able to recognize and admit her own flaws while also being grateful for them. And I didn't entirely understand what she meant by that. And so I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't think I said that. I'm glad I didn't say that. But still, I asked her, what does she mean by that? And she said that she had been recently, for however many days, weeks, or however long, every night before she goes to bed, she takes a minute or two to come up with three things that she's grateful for. And now it's not as if it's like an everyday thing. I mean, different every day. She's not writing things down. I even asked her like if she had kept a journal, and she's like, "No, I can't." The physical act of writing it, she felt it wasn't. I don't know. It almost felt like a chore. Makes sense. But she's like, it could be something big, or it can be something as innocuous as having clean sheets. And because of this exercise, she's been able to see that her flaws are what makes her, well, her, and she's grateful for them. And that led me to trying the same experiment. And as with everything that I do over the course of my life, I do it for a little while and then stop because, I either forget or I'm lazy or I just say, man, I'm all set. But it led me to sort of think to myself, okay, I have this stupid podcast that no one listens to, but it might be a tad cathartic to sort of get it all out. And not all out, because all the crap that I've got written down here is stupid. And not all. See, that's we're off to a great start. It's not all stupid by any stretch. But some of it is, gonna come off as lame or I don't know, dumb, I guess. I don't know. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm going to take a minute, recognize it, express it, and then go to the next one. So, without further ado, let's go. So, first and foremost, I am um, entirely grateful for my family, my parents, my brother's family, my in-laws, my niece, my wife, all of them. My parents, great people, hardworking, loving, and they gave my brother and I, you know, the absolute best childhood that I really, not knowing as a child, which you really don't. You don't know how much your parents work for you and sacrifice for you. I didn't realize that until I got older. And so having the wherewithal to realize that, and I think I figured it out. I don't know, it was probably my mid 20s when it really started to sink in. And so I'm just so grateful, and it shouldn't be this difficult to express, but it kind of is. I love them, and I'm thankful that my mother is still around. I miss my father um, often, and I think about him often. And I one of the things I think about is what he would be thinking about or doing right now. I'm certain he'd still be working because he's the hardest working person I ever met in my life. Even though he'd be in his early 70s, I assume he'd still be doing something just because that's how he was. And so I'm just so grateful that he worked so hard to try to instill that in both of us. And, it worked for my brother. For me, not so much. Nope. But, I'm grateful for the lessons and the just for everything, I guess, probably the best way to put it, right? And I've said this a bunch of times, but I'm very grateful for my wife. I don't know where I would be if I hadn't met her. It would probably not include this program because I don't think I would be doing it. It would I like to think that I would be just fine, but I think we all know, anybody that knows me knows that that's probably not the case. But I'm so unbelievably grateful that she decided to put up with my shit. I mean, not shit, but just my stupidity, and laziness, and just all of that stuff. It means so much to me, and I am eternally and forever grateful to her. Um, I am grateful for my health. Now, I'm what my doctor calls obese, but for the most part, I'm actually pretty healthy, right? My cholesterol, banging. My blood pressure, hereditarily, I said that word wrong. It's hereditary to have high blood pressure in my family, and guess what? I've got it too. And look, that doesn't mean it can't change tomorrow, but overall, as of right now, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. As I sit here in this chair, my hips are barking. Because again, as I get older and I'm staying fat, various parts of my body are starting to rebel. And it's just a matter of time before it continues. But, until all the various sectors and portions of my brain can start to figure things out and work together, I'm going to have to struggle here and try to figure this out on my own. But for the most part, we're okay. I am grateful for all of the pets and all the animals that I've ever had in my life. A lot of people might look at that and say it's kind of ridiculous, but growing up with pets my whole life, with animals in my life, unbelievably grateful. Boog, Tootie, Snosh, Snosh 2, Squiggy, Buff, Brian, Spike, Thomas, Geraldine, Simba, Ken, Gus, Lucy, especially my best little buddy, Monkey. I am eternally grateful that all of them were in my life at some point, and I feel so incredibly enriched by their friendship. I am a strong believer that your pets are a reflection of you in some way, shape, or form. So my hope is that um, they've felt the same way. I mean, you don't really know it. It sounds kind of stupid, but you just don't know, right? I am incredibly grateful for sports. If you've ever listened to this program, you know how uh, fired up and intense I can be over this crap, but I love it. All of them, literally all of them. I just find them entertaining and compelling. And at my age, the only sport I still actually play is golf. But I get a side eye from people when I tell them I don't really watch movies or television. It's like, sure, there are a few, but I can't sit around and watch a movie anymore. I just can't do it. My brain is just constantly thinking about other shit because my attention span is nil. But with sport, it's a completely different thing. Like, I'll watch it, talk about it, and in some cases live it. It's absurd. But I'm unbelievably grateful to have that in my life. And it's one of these things when I hear people who tell me that they don't like sports, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it is such compelling drama and joy, like all wrapped up into one thing. How can you not like some semblance of that? I don't understand. And I'm just so grateful to have all of it in my life, except for the 2023 Boston Red Sox. I don't care about you. Fuck off. I am eternally grateful for food. I literally wrote down food. Yeah, man, I love food. There are far, far too many people on this planet and in this country that simply do not have enough to eat. And I recognize that, and I am grateful that I do. I'm also grateful that I take full advantage of that and eat way more than I should. I'm grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for brown liquor, clear liquor. I love them. I'm also grateful to be aware enough to not treat alcohol the way I treat food. That would not be a good combo. I am grateful for the good old US of A. I'm grateful to be an American. Proud? Occasionally, but certainly grateful. There are many places on earth that are far, far worse off than us, and in spite of our best attempts to ruin it, it's still an incredible place to live. And I'm grateful for it. Having said that, I'm also grateful for every place that isn't the US of A. And why shouldn't I be? This is a massive planet with billions and billions of people on it. And there is simply so much to see and experience. People from all walks of life in so many different corners, just exploding with life and joy. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to experience that on occasion. Which leads me to my next one. I'm grateful for decent humans. I fully believe that 99.9% of people are genuinely good. But that, various environmental factors of various kinds, if you will, lead them astray or push them to being something that they're not. But it's certainly a small percentage, and most people are just good, decent, and they just want to be good and decent. I'm certain of that. I'm also grateful for my friends. Among those good people, my friends. They are great people, and my life is better because of them. And I'm so grateful to be able to call them friends. I need to be a better friend. I'm a lousy friend, if I'm being honest. Just not not good. I have so many friends that I haven't said a word to in God knows how long, and I hate that. And I need to be better. But I'm grateful that I've recognized that, and I promise I'll do better. That's a promise. Not that those people listen to the program. Not the point. I'm currently grateful for being congested, which means I'm probably going to get a cold. I am grateful for the ability to work and to attempt to make a living. Very grateful. And especially all of the jobs that I've had. And I sat there and I'm like, should I rattle or try and rattle off all the jobs that I've had? But then I said, you know what? That's a good thing to be grateful for. All of the opportunities that I've had and squandered in variety of different ways. But fuck it, here we go. A list of all the dumb jobs or places that I've worked, mostly just places I've worked. And I'm grateful for each and every one of them. Wendy's, Stuff and Turkey, Burger King, Roly Boly, Trukey's, Mueller's, Dairy Queen, GameStop, Strawberries, FYE, Kane's Appliance, Grant Steel, ADT, Medi Services, Extra Space Storage, Three Balls, Really Robbins, the Plymouth Pilgrims Baseball Club, Wayfair, Mac Wholesale, Lamps Plus, and my current employer, whom I will not name because I'd like to stay employed. I'm certain there are more. In fact, I guarantee you there are more that I missed. I'm just not remembering them at the moment. But thank you to anybody who ever said, yeah, you know what? We should hire that guy. And so that goes to how grateful I am for the apparent thousands of people that I've worked with over the years. I am grateful for your help, your friendship, your guidance, your guidance, your kindness. Thank you. I've made a lot of friends with people that I've worked with. Still have some. But I need to be better. Again, I'm grateful that we crossed paths when we did. So thank you. I'm grateful for the ability to be somewhat mindful and try to, and at the very least, think to be better and think to be present. And I am trying so hard to be mindful and be present constantly. It is difficult in this environment where everything is about the future, the future, the future. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing next week? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I don't know. I just know where I need to be right this minute, right this second. And I'm grateful for that, for knowing that. And I hope that that stays with me for the rest of my days. Finally, I'm grateful for this dumb show. I'm about to hit 3 solid years of this crap. Seriously. And while my imagination said that it would be in a different place by now, it's nice to still have an outlet of my own making to talk about shit that I care about. And I'm grateful that there really are more than a few people who actually seem to occasionally enjoy some of the same shit that I do. Who knows how much longer I'm going to be doing it, but it's been fun. And as I've said numerous times in the last 15 minutes, I am so grateful. I can't express enough the gratitude that I feel about all these things that I've just talked about, right? Like I'm talking into a microphone, going out into the void, into the endlessness of the universe, essentially, right? But it's something that I've come to realize and something that I need to do more of. I need to be able to realize how good I have it, even in those times where I think that I don't. And so, to you, to everyone else, and to all the people that I've mentioned, um, I am very grateful, and I thank you endlessly for for everything. It sounds like a eulogy, doesn't it? But fingers crossed, knock on wood, it's not. It certainly wasn't my intention. It came out far worse than I had envisioned. I thought it would be a little bit better, but the fact that I sound kind of shitty and I'm congested probably doesn't help matters. Not the point. The point is that I did it. And the point is that, again, I'm grateful. So listen, thank you. I'm going to end the show. It's like I said, it's a short shift. I don't want to do anything different than what I intended to do. So there's going to be no gripes. First time in 3 years, there will be no gripes. Not that it matters, but still, you get the point, right? Trying to do a little something different here. And I really hope that that maybe somebody appreciates this, and maybe it sort of leads someone to think about gratitude in their own way. And so, as always, listen, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.